You're watching Poland Daily Business, and we discuss Australia tonight. Why? Because our guest is Anthony Weymouth of Ambassador of Australia. So welcome to the show. You're a trade commissioner in the embassy. But we'll talk a little bit more about Australia's place in the world economy right now. There is, we don't know how the United States-China talk will end up. But they may well end up in the trade war between the United States and China, and Australia as a country that benefited a lot from this South Pacific economical boom that goes for 40 years now. Yeah. Are you concerned about this American-China problems?
So Australia's approach to trade is one of promoting free and open access to markets around the world. We, as you rightly pointed out, Australia's position geographically in the world is as a part of Asia. We've benefited greatly from our strategic location. China is our number one trading partner, followed by a couple of other key markets in Asia. Well, if you pull the EU together as one trading bloc, the EU becomes our second largest trading partner if you pull all the nations of the EU together, which, so I suppose what I'm trying to say is that from our perspective, we promote open and free access to global markets. That's our platform. We'll put in place free trade agreements with China, with Korea, with Japan, with all of the Asian markets. We've got in place a free trade agreement with North America, with the US. So we're very keen to promote an open and free access. And of course, we're watching what's happening between the US and China.
Okay. The eventual conflict may hurt the interests of Australia?
It's from our perspective, it's the outcome of the negotiations or the discussion between the US and China are unknown as to what direction they are going and where they will end. And we are definitely sharing our voice, which is we were encouraging both sides to keep an open and free market access between their economies, because it's important for the global context to do so.
Okay. And as an Australian representative, you can say that your country has an open and free access to the China's market?
Yeah, we do, 100%.
Okay, that's good. It's not something that Americans are saying.
Yeah, so we're able, Australian companies with our free trade agreement can sell most products and services into China duty-free.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good news. What do you sell to China? What is your main product?
The short answer is everything. The Chinese market is enormous in every sector. We certainly sell a lot of raw materials, so the output of mining, but we also sell a lot of finished product. Everything from processed food through to raw food, bottled wine, for example, engineering, consulting services, architectural services, education, you name it. There is a market for it in China, and Australian companies are active in all of those markets.
Mm-hmm. Do you work towards establishing the name and position of Australian companies in China?
Yeah, so Australia has been doing business in China for a very, very long time. And the reputation of Australian businesses, but also of the Australian brand in China is very strong. And that has taken a long time to achieve, but it's a reciprocal arrangement where likewise China sells a lot of product to Australia, and there are thousands of Chinese students very welcome to study in Australia, and they're contributing greatly to our society. And so from our perspective, it's absolutely a two-way relationship, but it has taken a long time to build up that relationship.
Right. If we look from the Polish perspective, we can tell that we sell to China maybe 5%, maybe 10% of goods we buy from China.
Yep.
How this balance works for Australia?
So Australia is one of the few developed countries to have a trade surplus with China. So China buys more from Australia than we buy from China.
Oh, that's very interesting, and that's a goal for everyone. I think the American ambassador would like to be in your position now. Let us say a few words about the things that are going on in Europe. We are expecting Brexit very soon, and one of the arguments of the Brexiters is we will not trade with the European Union as much as we will trade with Canada, Australia, India, and this will not only give us this will give us better position towards those countries. How do you feel about that?
So, to Australia, the European Union is a key market. As I said, as a collective before, it's about our number 2 or third largest trading partner. So we highly value the relationship between the EU and Australia. So much so that we're currently at the negotiation table with the EU for a free trade agreement between Australia and the EU, and that's a key priority for us. There's been 3 rounds of negotiations so far, and those negotiations have been going well. On Brexit, the British government has come to us and said we want to do a free trade agreement with Australia as well. And we've said at the appropriate time, we're happy to talk to you about that, but our priority for the time being is doing a free trade agreement with the EU.
Okay, because it's bigger market.
Yeah, and we still don't know what's going to happen with Brexit. For us, we need to be working with a known market, a large market, a trusted ally and friend, the European Union, and we're really keen to conclude that deal.
Okay, so we will see, because we are talking about things that we don't know how will develop. So it's still only guesswork rather than some real world analysis.
That's true.
So we will stay with that dilemma, and we will see how the things will develop, because they definitely will develop this way or another.
Yeah.
Anthony Weymouth, Embassy of Australia Trade Commissioner. Sir, thank you very much for this conversation. And that was it for Poland Daily Business.